15 games with over 100 hours played, equaling to a total of 1,500 hours overall. It's time to find out if it was time well spent or time I should have been spending doing something else, because these are the games that I spent over 100 hours of my actual life playing. In order to find this information, I have gone to my PS5, which handily shows you now all of your time spent across all your PS4 and PS5 games. So sadly, that means that I cannot count my 300 hours plus playing Skyrim, lost to the annals of time. Maybe someday I'll be able to calculate in all my PS3 game times, because I think those would be pretty chunky. But for now, we're sticking with PS4, PS5. The numbers may be slightly inaccurate. I can't say that word. Due to, I don't know, I've noticed that when I've gone to look at in-game clocks versus the PS5 clock, there's a slight discrepancy in time, maybe because the PS5 is counting when you're like idling on the main menu or something. So we're going to see what it tells us. I'm interested to see what these games will be and whether it was good or not. If you want to find out this information, you can go to your PS5 profile and then you click on games and then you sort your games to most played. Now for this video, I'll be looking at the games that I've spent over 100 hours in, as mentioned in the intro, and I'll be going through why did I spend 100 hours playing these games? What are my times like compared to most people's times, by looking at how long to beat and seeing how it compares, and then having a little look at, some of the trophies that may have caused some of my long time spent in it. So without further ado, let's get into it with game number 15. In 15th place, it is Dark Souls 3 at 98 hours. Yes, I know that's not quite 100, but I haven't finished playing it yet. I've still got to do the final half of the game, so I'm confident that this is gonna tip over to the 100-hour mark. I've still got to beat the game, get one more miracle. That's gonna be at least 2 hours. So I'm counting it for now. If I'm editing this in the past and it didn't hit the 100-hour mark, then we could just put a big fat X and move on. My 14th game on the list is Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy, clocking in at 102 hours, which compares to how long to beat, where most people take 43 hours to complete it. Why have I spent 102 hours playing these games? I don't know. I'm not really sure why I'm 50 hours over the normal amount of things. I think partly because I do actually like the Crash Bandicoot games. I played them countless times before this trilogy came out. So there's probably times that I've just gone back to play them for fun. But I will say a lot of the time will be spent on doing the relics, the time trials, especially in Crash Bandicoot 1. Also, we have to point out the fact that this is 3 games being counted as one game. So that's what? 100 divided by 3 doesn't go. So it's like 90, 92, 93. What am I even saying? 3. So it's about 33 hours or something between each game, roughly. But I will say most of the time probably went into the first game, Crash Bandicoot 1, because the time trials on those games, oh my God, they were so hard. I spent 5 hours alone doing, I believe it's, what's it called? The one on the bridge, not the bridge to nowhere. It's the road to nowhere, isn't it? Wait, hang on, I've got it written here. The high road took me at least 5 hours to get the gold relic on. So that a lot of time went into that. Most people, I don't think you would struggle. I don't think you would spend 100 hours playing Crash Bandicoot. Personally, I just enjoy the game. As I said, I've gone back to it. I think I probably put a lot of time into doing the Crash 1 DLC, A Slippery Climb, because not only did I struggle to even get through it the first time, I then felt compelled to try and get the Platinum Relic in it, which I did do. So there was a lot of time pumped into just like trying to improve my times and stuff. So I had a good time. I wouldn't take it back. I would probably jump back in again. This number may increase because I like going back and I like playing me some Crash. The 13th game on my list goes to Watch Dogs. Yes, the original Watch Dogs clocks in for me at 102 hours again as well. Not 102 hours. Compared to most people on how long to beat, that takes them 60 hours and a half. I have no idea why I've played Watch Dogs for over 100 hours. Now, I actually quite liked the first Watch Dogs. Did I like it more than the second game? No, but the second game doesn't appear in this list. This was one of the ones on the list that I was like, why? Why has this got so much time? It's an open world game, a given, so that is going to take you a lot of time to get through. I think I must have played the multiplayer a fair bit because I really liked the concept of Watch Dogs. I thought it was cool having this like hacking mechanic thing, and it took a different spin on the open world stuff. So I spent a lot of time trying to do that. So the trophy that will take you probably a long time, as well as it took me, was Disc Space 4. Unlock every song in the Song Sneak app. Now, in order to do that, it was pretty random. You just had to walk around, and it sort of was like the Nintendo Street Pass or something. If someone was playing a song, you had to that's how you found it. You just had to find people in the world that had the song. And it was pretty random. It was hard to really know. So I probably spent a lot of time doing that. I spent a lot of time getting many of the collectibles. I think there's like 100 geotags or something. But I did really enjoy just driving around the world. So I can't really blame trophies for why I've played this game so long. Another trophy that's kind of skill dependent that may add to your time will be Social Lubricant, which is to complete level 10 against 3 drinking opponents. Now this trophy actually got nerfed over time. It was pretty hard. I think I must have done it once it got nerfed, but I do remember trying it at first when it was not nerfed, and it was pretty tough. So I think that's why I didn't even play the DLC for this game. So I can't even blame going back and doing the DLC. This is just the amount of time it took me to beat the base game. At number 12, we have another Souls game on my list. It is Dark Souls Remastered, clocking in again at 102 hours. Why I spend 102 hours on things, I can't tell you. In comparison to How Long to Beat, which says the average completion time is 68 hours. So why have I spent so much time playing Dark Souls? It is one of my favorite games of all time. So I was expecting this one to be high. I've pumped in a lot of time into this for fun, again, and for trophies. I did have to do, I think, 2.5 playthroughs. This is quite a long one. Again, as I said, Souls games can be quite, I don't want to say a grind, but they can be, but they just take a lot of effort if you're going to do it properly. So there's a couple of trophies that may elongate your times because you have to get all of the rare weapons. And in order to get all the rare weapons, you need to use boss souls to create them. Now, some bosses, their soul needs to be used to create 3 different weapons, aka Sith. So you would have to, if you were to do this legit, you would need to go through the game 2.5 times to beat Sith 3 times in order to make said weapon that you need. You need 3 of these different weapons. Or are they shields? I'm pretty sure I did that for Dark Souls on PS3. I think for this game, I might have had to do it again, actually. I don't think I did any duping on this. I think I did it legit. However, I did mess up, which has caused me to play this game even more. So when I created my final weapon, you can see this on a video. I did a video about it. It was my 88th Platinum Trophy. I'll link it for you. But I did the weapon, and it wasn't the right weapon. And so I had to reload an old save and beat the game a whole half a time again in order to get to Sith, beat Sith, and then go make this weapon. That was stressful, but I loved the game so much that I didn't mind too much. I could probably play that game easily over and over again. It's got a special place in my heart. There's also the DLC, which I played for the first time on PS4 because I didn't buy it on PS3. So that took me a little bit of time because, brand new DLC, I didn't know what I was doing. I found Manus, the Dark Abyss, whatever his name is, pretty tough. So that also would add on to my time. A Souls game, very skill dependent. Once more, you may get stuck on bosses. For me, it's Ornstein and Smough every time, but I think I'm getting better at them. And of course, Manus, the father of the Abyss, that's his name. So it probably won't take you as long. So my time isn't too dissimilar to most people's time, but it is probably because I went back and had to get that trophy I was missing. But you know what? That one's time well spent. At number 11 on my list, clocking in at 116 hours, it is GTA Vice City. Wow. Now, again, I love this game so much that I would probably imagine that I would have played a lot of this. But if we compare it to the How Long to Beat time, which averages at about 42 hours, that's a hell of a lot more time. Now, why is this game? Well, I think I just enjoy playing it for a start, so I probably boot it up just for fun. But there is one trophy that has taken most of the time, and the cannoli. It is taking the cannoli, which is the trophy that you have to get to like this crazy kind of point thing. What's it called? Let me look it up. So take the cannoli. It's to earn the Godfather rating. And this is a ridiculous trophy and requires you to go through, well, there's lots of different ways that you can get this trophy, but neither way is going to be easy. You could just play forever, but I doubt that's going to really help you. So the way that I went about doing it was I had to start a brand new save file and collect all 80, actually there's 100 packages, but I had to collect 80 of them in order to get a helicopter thing to spawn, and then I left the helicopter shooting while I went to sleep overnight. So that was a pretty time intensive trophy, like just collecting all of the 80 packages again, because I had to do a thing where I had to kind of like glitch to be able to go to the second island without having to do any of the missions, because you couldn't shoot anybody as well, so it was pretty intense. You had to collect these packages without people shooting you or you shooting back or something. So oh my God, it was proper stressful. So that has got to at least be 15 hours of my total time. There's also a lot of skill dependent things because a GTA game, you need 100% completion. So you're doing like races, you're trying to collect everything. You're also doing, oh my God, I forgot about the stunt jumps. So I mess up a lot. Everybody, learn from my mistakes. This is how dedicated I am, I guess. I like to not look at a guide if I can help it. And it comes to bite me in the ass a lot. So another one that's I messed up was the stunt jumps. You have to get all 36 unique stunt jumps, but this game doesn't tell you which ones you're missing. It just tells you how many you've done. And I went through, followed a guide, and I was missing one right at the very end. And I was like, how has this happened? I have no idea which one I'm missing. And there was no way to know. So I went through and did them all again. Still missing one. So I don't know how many times I redid these stunt jumps, but eventually, I think I just had to do it on oh my God, I think I had to start a brand new save or something. Wait, let me see the time on this. 6th of October. I might have done that, I think I might have done a brand new save just for these stunt jumps. So I had to complete the game to get to the second island. And then I just went through and just took a screenshot every time I got it. Wow. I mean, it's annoying, but I only did it because I love this game so much. So hopefully for you, it may not take this much time, unless you love hanging out in Vice City as much as I did. Number 10 on my list, the top 10 of my plus 100 games. Number 10 on the list is Persona 5, the vanilla version, clocking in at 133 hours. And if we look at how long to beat for the completionist, it is 173 hours. Now, this is one of the few I haven't mentioned before, but I have platinums apart from in Dark Souls 3. I've got the platinums for all the games I previously mentioned. This game, I do not have the platinum in, and I don't think I'm ever going to get the platinum in, and that's why my time is short of the 173 hours that most people get. So what is it about Persona 5 that made me pump so much time into it, despite the fact that I haven't got the plat? It's a great game, everybody. What can I say? I loved playing this game so much that I would just take my time hanging out with people, reading everything. The cutscenes are pretty long, and I am also a pretty slow reader, so that probably adds to the time, to be honest. And you can spend a lot of time in Mementos if you want to grind out to get your level higher, but it's just a meaty game. And in order to get the platinum, I would probably need to, dump another 50 hours. So I would probably come back up to 173. That's 50 hours is exactly actually the amount of time, because it's a bit of a grind. I would have to follow a guide. Currently I only have 38 out of 49 trophies to get the platinum, and I don't know if I want to play the game that way. I don't know if I really want to just play it following a guide to get all the books and maxing out all the social links and stuff like that. I did, however, get one of the trophies that may cause the most problem for a lot of people, which is Passionate Listener, which is to hear all 250 of Futaba's navigational lines. So it's I've got one of the hardest trophies out the way, but alas, I still need to put a lot of time. So that could be a bit of a grind for you because you're not really sure what Futaba's going to say at any moment, and you have to get all these different status elements in order for her to comment on them and stuff. There's 250 of them is quite a lot, so that may take you a bit of time. Now, as a bonus add-on, I did actually play Persona 5 Royal, and that clocked in at 96 hours. So all in all, if I count both my Persona times, I have played, time for some quick maths. 133 plus 96 equals 229 hours of Persona 5. That's a lot. We should keep that in the back pocket, because that could rise it up to the ranks of an overall time. At number 9, with a total of 140 hours, it's another Souls game, everybody. It is Bloodborne. How long to beat is clocking. I've looked at the Game of the Year edition for this. 77 hours, because that includes the DLC. I only have the base edition, but I did buy the DLC later on, so I have completed the entirety of the game. So why did it take me 140 hours? I think, again, I forget how much I enjoyed Bloodborne. Like, I think my love for all of the other Souls games makes me forget, because clearly I loved it. I played a lot of it. And I know I went back and I did a lot of co-op and I did some live streams on it and stuff. So that's also added to my time. I had to do 1.5 playthroughs for this one. So I didn't have to play, I don't know, is it a longer game than the other Souls games? Maybe it is. Maybe I struggled more with it. I don't really particularly remember struggling too hard. Like, if I had to think about the bosses, again, because it's a Souls game, this will be skill dependent. So if you're great at the game, you might fly through it. If you suck, you might be there for a bit of time. I remember struggling with the Shadows of Yharnam a lot. They were, I think, my first hard challenge. And then any other bosses that come to mind? Not Mikolash. Oh, Amygdala. That was a pretty tough fight. Those are the ones that come to mind. But now I'm thinking about it even deeper. I think what would have taken a lot of my time is the Chalice Dungeon. So if you're looking to complete the game, you do need to get a trophy called Yharnam. Oh, I don't know how to say this word. Themerian Queen. And that is the final boss that you have to beat once you complete all of the Chalice Dungeons, like the root core ones. That's a grind, everybody. That will take you at least 40 hours or maybe 30. And there's some pretty tough bosses in there. The Defiled Dungeons, that was pretty tough. Like, that's a lengthy one. If you want to get that, that's going to be where most of your time is going towards. I also did the DLC, which I struggled really badly on Lawrence. What's it for? Lawrence the First Vicar or whatever? Is that their name? I spent a whole weekend trying to beat that guy. And it was so tough. So I attribute a lot of my time to getting stuck on certain bosses, the Chalice Dungeons, but it is a well worth game. You don't need to... Oh, that's why I had to beat the game 1.5 times. So I beat the game once and I managed to get all the endings by reloading an old save, and that was fine. But then I think when I downloaded the DLC, I realized that you had to start the DLC from a certain point of the game, which my save didn't cover me for. So I had to do a whole half a playthrough to get to that point in order to enter the DLC, which was fantastic, by the way. Highly recommend. Got the platinum. 140 hours, I'd say. Well spent. Next up, number 8 on my list, clocking in at 154 hours. It's Fallout 4. This is another perplexing one for me because I don't like it. Well, I did like Fallout 4, I guess, but I didn't like it as much as Fallout 3 or Skyrim. I was confused. I don't know how or why I've spent this much time playing Fallout 4 when I don't even hardly speak about it. Like, it's not a game that I think about a lot. Most people, however, do spend on how long to beat 81 hours in total. And this is also, I haven't played any of the DLC. This is just base game that I've spent this much time. Now, I was trying to rack my brains, why did I spend so much time playing Fallout 4? And I think it has to be because of the camp, the base building stuff, the settlements, that's what it's called, the settlements. Now, I didn't really like it, but I kind of got really into it at the same time. So I used to just spend a lot of time listening to podcasts or music, building up my settlement, making my house. And then there is, of course, the trophy that will take you the longest time, which is Benevolent Leader, where you have to get your settlement to 100% happiness, which was the hardest thing ever. So I had my main settlement, which, anything goes, people come and go. I had my dogs there, had all my companions and all the people, put everyone to work. They were never going to be happy, all right? It's too big, too many people to please. So I had to go find this other tiny settlement. This place was an absolute, just piece of trash area, but I kept it small. I kept it to 5-6 people, and I was able to get them happy and got my 100% happiness. So I was sort of running 2 towns. And I guess all my other time just went into maybe exploration. There are a few different endings, so you will have to go back to a save and do quite I say substantial. It's not do the final mission again. Some of the multiple endings require you to go back at least a couple of missions to do a certain storyline. And I think there's 3 of those, so that also would attribute to time. So it's a big meaty game. It is an RPG after all, so it will take you a lot of time. But yeah, it's the settlement stuff that will really be the biggest grind. But I don't think... 81 hours, I suppose it's not too far off 154, but I'll definitely attribute that to my camp, my settlement building. At number 7... Of course it had to show up. It is the Uncharted Collection on PS4, clocking in at a whopping... Wait, what have I written here? 200... I can't say if that's oh God, I've written that really badly. That's got to be 211 hours. Yeah, 211 hours. Sorry, I had to check my notes there because that was very poorly written. Whereas most people on How Long to Beat will get the Platinum Trophy for all 3 games in 30 and a half hours. Now, why? Why have I spent a ridiculous... What is that? That's like, I don't know, triple, even higher, quadruple the amount of time normal people play. It's because everybody, you guys know, I love Uncharted so much. So I've played these games multiple times just for fun again. I play them for fun. So whilst I have got the platinums and everything, I just love booting up Uncharted. I'm just going through the games. Of course, I did a lot of Uncharted content on the channel. So that was me going back and playing Brutal, doing the Brutal guides, doing the stealth guides, doing live streams on all 3 games. So that, like, the stealthing stuff was probably the stuff that... Oh, actually, and Brutal as well. That's a big chunk of time. I also went back and would like go and capture footage a lot for the cutscenes to talk about Uncharted for my other games. Like, I just play these games over and over again. Happy to see them up there. That's the only reason why I've put that much time into it. I can see this number going up because I never, ever, ever want to stop playing the original Uncharted games. Unless they release them again on every single PS5 or PS console to come. Then, yeah, no, I'm happy with that. That's 100% time well spent. And number 6, we have the next Uncharted game, which is Uncharted 4, clocking in at a total of 256 hours, whereas How Long to Beat is saying that most people beat the game again in 30 and a half hours. So, also, I would like to point out that my screenshot, for some reason, after I got Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, it like overwrote all of the like thumbnails for the old Uncharted games, but when you click into it, it does show as Uncharted 4, so I'm 100% certain this is Uncharted 4. I knew this from before when I've done other stat things, and Uncharted 4 always comes up quite high. Now, this is only one game. This doesn't even count Lost Legacy. Why have I spent more time playing one Uncharted game than 3 Uncharted games, I hear you ask? Well, a lot of it is going to be down to the multiplayer. I was big into this multiplayer. The collection doesn't have any multiplayer. Uncharted 4 did. So that's got to be at least 150 hours just doing that. Like, I used to have a bunch of friends that we'd play with all the time. I would do the Uncharted Survival, like loads. I've still not even finished all of the multiplayer Uncharted trophies. That's going to take a lot of time. If you're looking to 100% this, the crushing it, that's going to be where you're going to have to do some real good practice. Maybe someday I'll get those trophies. Maybe someday. But again, much like the Uncharted Collection, a lot of my time in this was spent on doing the stealth guides. A lot more stealth areas in this game compared to the other 3. Did I do? Oh yeah, of course I did. Oh my god, the speed runs. The game actually asks you to play the game quite a few times, so you've got to do. And I always play the games on normal and then go back and do the harder difficulty ones. So then there's the speed run that I had to do, the 70% accuracy trophy. There's also the guide I did for Rafe, where you can like how to beat him doing the sword master. So a lot of time pumped into Uncharted 4 for various reasons, but mostly for the love of Uncharted. So again, time well spent. Now, if I was to add up all Uncharted games, how much but I'd have to add Lost Legacy in as well. Let's just count this. Let's just do calculator. So 122 plus 256 equals, wow, 467 hours playing Uncharted. And that's not even counting Legacy of Thieves. Oh my god. Definitely then, if I was going to count Legacy of Thieves, which must be about 30 hours or so. I definitely haven't played as much of that as the others. Maybe 40 hours. And then Lost Legacy again must be quite high due to doing all the guides. That's got to be almost hitting 600 hours of Uncharted. This is terrifying, but great at the same time. Let's move on to the next game. We're in top 5 territory now if anyone wants to hazard a guess, but coming in at number 5, clocking in a total of 269 hours, it is The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. So most people, it will take them 196 hours to beat. I need to improve my handwriting. This time includes the DLC as well because I have bought the DLC. So that was looking at the Game of the Year edition. So how have I spent so long playing The Witcher 3? Well, it is a humongous game. They weren't lying, CD Projekt Red, when they said there's 200 hours of content, because clearly there is. I've spent 70 more hours playing their game. Like, it's so big, it's so in-depth. I did 2 playthroughs. I did a standard playthrough, and then I did a playthrough for Death March, which I loved. Like, it took a little longer because you had to, like, you know, be better, and I died a bit more. But that was such a good playthrough, doing it on Death March. I'd love to play that again. But it is, and also on my second playthrough, because I loved the game so much, I was always watching the cutscenes. Like, so that's another thing. Like, sometimes if you're replaying the game, you can skip cutscenes, but I didn't want to because they're all so good. So that's definitely what spent a big chunk of my time. The DLCs as well are pretty meaty. They come in at like, what, 20 to 40 hours each, and I've not even got all the trophies in them yet. So I need to go back. So this time is definitely going to increase, because I do want to get a clean bill of completion. I want to get 100% on The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It's just going to take a bit of time because I'll have to redo those entire games again. The longest trophy I'm going to give that to Death March, or trying to get all of the Gwent cards, because I had to do that on a second playthrough. That could be a bit skill dependent depending on how good you are at Gwent, but 100% this is time well spent, and time I will be definitely spending more time in. Good lord. At number 4, this game took me by surprise, by the way. The Last of Us Remastered at 282 hours. How have I played The Last of Us more than I've played the Uncharted games? I literally can't comprehend that. Actually, maybe I can. But no, I definitely didn't play the multiplayer as much as I played the multiplayer on Uncharted 4. I didn't think I'd played The Last of Us that much. Like, I know I played it a lot, but not like that a lot. Whereas normally on How Long to Beat, it would take people to complete the game 29 hours. So again, this is like quadruple. So the only thing I can attribute this to is, again, because I love the game, and it's a game that I do enjoy replaying just for fun. Just because I'm like, oh, I like the story, I'll jump back in and play it again. I seem to always play the first half of the game a lot and then just drop it and then think, oh, I want to play The Last of Us. Let's start a new save file, and I'll do summer, and then I'll give up, and then I'll, you know, rinse and repeat. Not that I don't like the rest of the game, but I just really love the beginning of the game so much. There's also the fact that I did a couple of guides on it for grounded mode, and I'm pretty sure, I was shocked when I was researching this, I'm pretty sure I played grounded mode twice, because the trophy dates don't match. So I must have done it once on normal and then done it again on grounded plus. I think I must have done it in order to capture footage, maybe. I don't know, but that, I was like, no way. Must have played this game so many times for these stats to be like this. That's madness. And then there is a little bit of multiplayer, but I definitely played more of the multiplayer on the PS3 version. Like, I only played the multiplayer on this just to get the trophies, which will probably take the longest time, because you need to complete 2 journeys, once as a hunter and once as a firefly, and you do need to get your population to 40 people. So depending on how good you are at the multiplayer and how active it even is, that might take you the most time. But yeah, damn. I'm going to say it's time well spent, but I was shocked that it was that high. In third place, it is Red Dead Redemption 2, clocking in at 329 hours. Oh my god, we're in the 300-hour territory now. On How Long to Beat, I don't believe this time they're saying 174 hours for completionist, but I don't think it's counting multiplayer on this, because there's like separate multiplayer stats, so I'm a little confused, because I think that's got to be single player alone. Multiplayer, you have to get to level 50, so it's not too bad. But I love the Red Dead Redemption multiplayer, but they've just like killed it by making it ridiculously grindy. There's not enough to do in the world. You're getting like tuppence hate me for whatever task you're doing. That was a slog. I wish I could log into my Rockstar social to find out the truth. Maybe I'll be able to put that in the edit, because I was struggling to log into it yesterday. So then I could really break down what my time in game, like single player, was versus multiplayer. So what took the most? Why did I play so much of this? Well, firstly, I absolutely love Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a game I would play for fun. I just boot it up, go around the world, see what I can find. Of course, getting those trophies was something that was going to take a lot of time, especially the zoology and the skin deep ones, which require you to find every single animal in the world and skin every animal in the world. That was intense. That's got to be at least 20 hours of these 329 hours. Like, that was super long, because it wasn't even guaranteed where these animals were going to show up, and then trying to kill them. That was a nightmare. There was also the fact that I messed up a trophy, once again, messing up a trophy, which required me then to have to go back to an old save and replay, I'd say, the last quarter of the game again, in order to get one of the, I think it's the This Is Art trophy or something. I couldn't believe it. I remember actually I spent a good 2 hours really trying to get those posters to spawn at the end game, but I just couldn't, so I had to reload and do it all again. There is also the fact that you need to get 100% completion as per most Rockstar games, so there's really like loads of tiny things you have to do, but I quite like a bit of 100% completion. And then the 70 gold medal missions, which on the surface, that isn't too hard, but it will require you to go and like replay certain missions again and again just to get the perfect, whatever you need to get those golds. So yeah, I'm gonna say time well spent overall, but I don't think I really needed to spend that much time collecting all the animals and doing that stuff. And I can see this number going up because I do want to replay this game. Like, I don't know when, but I replayed the first Red Dead Redemption. I'd love to spend some time, maybe 3 years in the future or whatever, coming back to Red Dead and reliving Arthur's story because it was so good. It was so good. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how that time increases. Here we are, top 2 now. At number 2, it is GTA 5, clocking in at 331 hours, just pipping Red Dead Redemption 2. On how long to beat, it is saying 80 hours, which again, I don't think is correct, but they do have a multiplayer time of 100 hours plus. So again, it's a Rockstar game, so you're in for a long haul with this one. Not only is the single player stuff pretty dense, pretty deep. You need to get 100% completion once again. There's a ton of collectibles to get. You also have to do the multiplayer accompaniment. That's it. That's the one. Which requires you to get to level 100. That's a killer, that. Level 100. So this took me a very long time to do. That's where you're going to be pumping in a lot of time. I didn't mind it so much. There's lots to do. They definitely love. You can see who's the redheaded stepchild in the Rockstar family. Like, they love GTA Online. Red Dead Online. They're like, oh, good luck out there. But they're always giving you content in GTA 5 Online. So it's not too terrible to do. Like, at least so you're doing something. But your progress does move up pretty slowly. As for the single player, I only had to play it once. And then it's just like going back and collecting things. And with these massive open world games, it's like you're driving around the map doing one thing, then you've ticked that off. Then it's like, now collect this thing. So you're back driving around the map, or even like scuba diving or whatever it was around the map to pick up just trash, really. Like, I do feel that their collectible stuff is a little bit time wasty, because whilst they tie it into the story, it's just collecting something for collecting things' sake, and they don't really mean anything. So I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, pretty much, I don't know, it's not my favourite GTA game, so, but I guess time well spent, kinda. I don't think I really needed to spend that much time. I'm curious because you can see what games I like to play a lot and why they come up, and it's the Red Dead, it's the Rockstar games, the Naughty Dog games, and I think and the Souls games. Those are my big 3 time sinks. And now for the game that I have spent the most time in, clocking in at a whopping 745 hours. It is the original Destiny. And I don't even have the platinum for it. This number makes me sick. I can't believe it. And do you know what makes it worse? I did some research. I was like, I couldn't believe that's how long I spent playing Destiny. So I tried to find out scientifically when I started playing. So I started playing the game on the 14th of December in 2014. I stopped playing the game in September of 2015. People, we are talking about 745 hours spent over a span of 10 months. 10 months! How? Well, I'm about to tell you how. So on how long to beat, most people will spend 514 hours playing Destiny. So I guess we're kind of on par, but this was my life, everybody. This was the year of unemployment. So I had nothing else to do, and I had no money to buy any new games, and this was the game that just kept on giving but not giving. Like, there was always something to do, even though it was technically the same thing to do. I had a bunch of friends that every night we would jump on Destiny, we would do the daily strike, we would do the daily mission. Even when they weren't playing, I would get on my Sparrow, that's what it's called, right? The shit was Sparrow. And I would like drive around and just pick up the pointless like material stuff, because I think you needed that to improve things or whatever. You also had to play the game, if you can call it that, I mean like the single player. You had to play the game 3 times to be able to level up your Warhawk, your Titan, and your Hunter. Those are God, it's like some sort of fever dream. Like, it's weird because I know it's something that I clearly played a lot of, but it was so quick that it's almost like it never even happened. So I did all of that. The only things I am missing are Flawless Raider and beating a raid with a full fire team. But I was on it clearly all of the time, just doing that. And at the time, I did enjoy it. Like, I'm talking about it now, like, was it time well spent? I guess if we're asking that question. I'm not sure, not all of it. I'm not going to say that it wasn't time well spent hanging out with friends and having a laugh and playing. I mean, I can't really quibble when I had nothing else to do back then and it was only 10 months of my life. What really pains me is my no platinum status. And for those of you who don't know the story behind this, the reason I don't have the platinum is because in September of 2015, they released the Taken King DLC, which then made it pretty much impossible for anyone that didn't have the DLC to get the platinum because they changed like a bunch of things. I didn't have a job, I was poor, I was not going to spend £40 on a DLC just to get the platinum, and then time passed me by, and the more that time has passed, the more I find it really difficult to think, can I actually jump back into Destiny? I actually almost broke the game in terms of, like, I was so mad that I swore to myself I would never play it again. I uninstalled the game and I put the disc within my hands and thought about snapping it just to stop the temptation. I don't think I did in the end. I think I still have it. So there we go. That was every game that I spent pretty much 100 hours plus playing. Now the big question is, what is my total time of So we're going to have to do some quick maths here, everybody. Let's find out. So bear with me while I math it up. 7, 4, 5 plus 3, 3, 1. 100. Okay. I've literally just pressed equals. So I've rounded up Dark Souls 3 to 100. Sue me. All right. So if you think you can maths and realize this is wrong. So everybody, the total time across all 15 games comes to 3,372 hours. What have you done for 330, whatever that was, 3,372 hours? I could have learnt to cook. So there we are, everybody. That is the games that I've spent more than 100 hours playing. I'll be curious to see how that changes over time. If I'll ever be able to beat my top game of Destiny. I'm never beating that. I'm never going to play anything again for 700 hours. But I'll be curious to see if like another Red Dead or GTA comes out. Will it be able to dethrone the GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2? Please put in the comments below what games you've spent more than 100 hours on, and if you regret it, did you like it? Is there anything else that you have to say? Put it in the comments. I'd love to read it. Until then, keep gaming, and I shall catch you all next time.